We have this idea of our solar system as kind of calm and quiet, and certainly no major collisions now, and the planets kind of peacefully moving about their orbits. But if you stop to think about it, it really does seem improbable that all these massive masses with their gravities could have aligned themselves so perfectly without just immediately descending into chaos. So how do astrophysicists currently conceive of how things ended up so seemingly harmonious when they were once so chaotic?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think that there's almost kind of like this Zen beauty to the evolution of planetary systems, where you attain higher level of peace through these, episodes of chaotic kind of relaxation, if you will, right? So the solar system forms at a state that's just marginally stable, and then through a brief period of violence will relax to a more peaceful state, which will last much longer. And even that state is not indefinitely stable, and it'll eventually kind of undergo a different instability, but then relax to a yet more stable configuration, and so on. And it's this perpetual cycle. So if you were to ask the question of how did the orbits end up in the state where they are today, right? We owe that in part to the fact that the solar system, and particularly the outer solar system, had a ton of icy asteroids when the solar system formed. And the process of ejecting this mass from the solar system, that kind of sucked out a lot of the action from turned down the temperature a little bit on the solar system's dynamical evolution. So after the giant planets, kind of had a brief episode of instability, being embedded in a bath of icy asteroids that, paid the price of being ejected from the solar system, right, really calmed everybody's orbits down and put the solar system into the state that we observe today. But even the state we observe today is not indefinitely stable. And the most unstable planet is the planet Mercury. In fact, you should enjoy Mercury while it lasts, right? It's not going to be around here forever. Okay. Every time you see it, you should just think, wow, I'm glad I got to see it, because within 5 billion years, there's a 1% chance that Mercury will either collide with Venus or fall into the sun, things like that. And even if that doesn't happen, as the sun descends on its red giant branch and starts to expand, it'll engulf Mercury. So really enjoy Mercury while it lasts.
So enjoy every sandwich and enjoy every Mercury sighting is what I'm hearing.
Yes. And the other one is the moon, by the way. So the moon is not going away, but the moon is receding away from the Earth. I don't blame it, frankly. I would do the same if I was in the moon's shoes, but it's moving out at like a centimeter per year. And so the notion of having a full solar eclipse, that's going away. Right? If you wait long enough, the angular size of the moon on the sky will be much smaller than it is today, and it won't be able to obscure the sun fully. In fact, the remarkable coincidence that right now the moon occupies, the disk of the moon occupies as much area on the sky as does the sun, is an amazing coincidence. It used to be much bigger, it will be much smaller, and right now they're about the same.
And is the moon moving away because we've done something wrong? We've done something to offend the moon in its shoes? Or is there some better astronomical explanation?
I mean, I'm sure it doesn't help. I'm sure our behavior is not helping, but it's mostly
we've only visited once or twice in a few times in many millions of years.
Yeah. That's right. It was like pedal to the metal. I'm out of here.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere it's more wanted.
Exactly. But mostly it's just the tides. I mean, so the moon raises a tide on the Earth, right? The tide crashes into the continents a couple times a day. And so what happens is that energy gets dissipated. And the consequence of that dissipation of energy is that the Earth slows down, right? Because the tidal wave crashes into the continents. But in order to conserve total angular momentum, the slowdown of the Earth has to get compensated somehow. And the way that it gets compensated is by the expansion of the lunar orbit, because after all, it is the moon doing the job of raising the tide in the first place.